without a doubt, you've been on the road, but not necessarily in a venue, and you talked a little bit about that, where it's 100,000, it's almost double some of the places that you've been to. Can that, with the crowd, can that affect the offense, or with the way you guys signal things, will that have any bearing whatsoever?
Well, I mean, I think that we have to be very, cognizant of the fact that it'll be distracting if we let it be distracting. I think that's really the kind of the answer to that. Obviously, it'll be loud, and obviously it'll be full of energy, and the way it should be. But it's going to be, literally, it's going to have to be something that, we can't really simulate it. We can try and all that, but we just got to be mentally prepared that that's the way it's going to be when we get there, and we've got to, again, stay focused in on the things that matter. And so, we've played at a lot of great places in the SEC. There's been a lot of places with a lot of noise. I don't know how on the noise meter where everything falls, but it'll be another challenge on the road, and we just got to stay focused.
What's Marcel Darius do well? We also kind of saw in the national championship game how dominant he can be. He can be,
and he is. I mean, he really is. He's very physical. He's got a great first step off the ball, and he's just he's a dominant player, and with the strength that he has for that position, and the suddenness and the quickness he's got for that position, I think separates him, from most other players out there.
Gene, yesterday when Coach Saban was asked about the offense and the fact that it's more than just Cam Newton, he ran down just about everybody in your offensive line. What kind of a tribute is that to the way you've been able to get so many people involved in the offense?
I think offensively we've done a nice job of really trying to be, trying to spread the wealth, so to speak, and that's not just in the running game, that's, everywhere around the offense. We like to get the ball to different people different ways. We feel like we've got some guys that we can really utilize in different positions and do some different things to help us. I think our staff has really created on a weekly basis different ways to do those things, and it's been great. I mean, you can start with the wideouts, and different guys in different games have really been, I don't want to use the word highlighted, but they've been used for different functions, whether it be the screen game, the downhill throwing game. Then your tailback running game, again, with, we know we got to be able to run the ball downhill inside. We know that, again, to open some of that up, you'd like to be able to have a perimeter run game as well. And then the quarterback run game, combined with those other things that I just mentioned, you're hoping that you're spreading it around enough to be problematic for a defense. So I think, again, our offensive staff, over the first 11 games has done a good job with trying to, spread it around.
Coach, I don't want to get into specifics of this, but does Mark Blanc understand that, what this kind of, that first half, missing that first half, does he have a good understanding of how that could hurt the team, if it will at all, for what, for what he did?
Yeah, I think all of our players understand that.
How much does it help maybe the fact that this is kind of the setup you had last year, having the bye week leading into the Iron Bowl? Does that help because they know how to kind of prepare for a game like this?
Well, earlier in the week I was asked the same question, and really, it helps that we're pretty much doing the same thing we did last year, obviously, so there's a little bit of carryover for that. But, with the bye weeks, I feel like it came at the right time in terms of where we were just physically and needing a little bit of time to heal up, needing a little bit of time to mentally kind of recapture, the enthusiasm and the energy after having a day and a half off. And I think all of that is really important. Whether a week off helps you or hurts you in terms of execution going into the next week, you never really know what, how that's going to affect you, because obviously if you win, then boy, it was great. And if you didn't play well, then boy, the off week hurt you. So everybody's going to spin it however they want to spin it. But in terms of was this good timing for us for this specific place and time? Yes, it was, because I feel like, after 14 straight weeks, our guys were ready.
Build on that, Coach. Is there
Yeah, there's a fine line in there, really, and we hope we find whatever that fine line is, and you want to be very thorough, but you got to balance it. You got to balance how much you're going to practice, how much you're going to meet, how long you're going to be on the field. There's nothing more important, in my opinion, right now in a game like this, that your guys are mentally and physically fresh. So that's where the balance comes in with preparing and what you do in the classroom versus what you do on the field. There's got to be a good balance in there. I'm not sure what it is, but we're trying to do it.
I think everybody knows the seriousness of this rivalry. You talked about that, but maybe people don't understand it as a player. At any level when you were playing, was there one particular rival that stood out for you? And can you talk about how it was for you as a player and how you felt?
Well, I think when you talk about rivalry games, always you got to start with your in-state rivalries, and because there's so much carryover to guys you played with, guys you played against, everybody knows everybody. I just think that, those are the greatest rivalries usually, and so that being said, you're excited and you want to play and you have that energy and that passion and there's just that level of high that is really hard to get anywhere doing anything else. You know what I mean, for these games. But at the same time, you got to be really you've got to be really smart about not being ready to play on Tuesday or Wednesday, or you've got to really capture your emotions and bottle them up, and you got to be ready to play at game time on Friday. So. Those are fun. Those are fun times for everybody. They're memories that you'll have forever. And like I've said before in this game, somebody in this game every year will go down in history for a play or a series of plays, or that usually happens in these type of rivalry games.
Did you have a rival?
Well, yes. For us, there was Miami at the time. There was Florida State at the time, and there's Georgia always, and those are all, big rivals, and some of those are in conference, some of them were out of conference, so there's different flavors in there, but they're all great rivalries.
A few more? Talk about the Alabama offense. Looks like it's going to put some pressure on safeties. Is that the case Friday, you think?
In terms of their offense putting pressure on defensive safeties? Right. Absolutely, Mark. Well, that's, yes, but they're going to put pressure everywhere. That's what's making them so efficient offensively. They put pressure on your corners because they got great wideouts. They put pressure on your safeties right now because you commit them to the run. If you do, then your corners can be exposed some. Do you play them back there a little bit deeper and really protect the passing game first? And if you do that, then your front seven's got to hold up. So there's really pressure everywhere, I guess, is, when you have an offense that's very versatile with great players at different positions, both on the perimeter and inside, it just causes, puts a lot of pressure on everybody.
Coach, I hate to be the one to ask this, but is there any fear or any doubt that Cam's status could change?
I'm not talking about Cameron Newton unless it's got something to do with the first 11 games and his performance in those games.
Anything else?
Well, Coach, can you talk about the way he's embraced that leadership role, and are you surprised at what he's accomplished through 11 games, or amazed?
I'm really proud of him for being, watching his progression from game 1 to game 11 is, that's a dream for a coach to watch a kid, continue to improve and, become not just a great player, within, your football team and obviously within the offense, but take on the leadership role, take on the, when you watch him compete and everybody around him, they feel like
you are the only participant on this call. To continue holding,
scared me again, Kurt.
On your telephone.
There we go. Good. But he's just gotten better in so many ways. His role within the team, and he's brought up the competition the level that everybody feels like they have to compete at, I think he's brought that up on our team too because of how competitive he is. So it's really been great to watch him evolve over the last 11 weeks.
Thanks, Coach.
Got it.